Maybe.
Maybe. Live, kind of. Hello. Welcome to
Yes.
Nighttime at the Nerd Bar, episode 56. Woo! We're getting up there.
Yeah.
Moving along, and it's awesome. We're happy to have you here. If you're watching it live, join us in the live chat. If you're watching later, no worries. Comment down below. We're going to be talking about Trigun, My Hero Academia, movie anime announcements, as well as other cool show and movie announcements. And we have other recommendations for you at the end. So lots in store. Stick around. But let's get into who we are. What's up? I'm Carrie Lane.
And I'm Katie Cullen.
Yes, and welcome to Nighttime at the Nerd Bar. And let's get right into it. So some things we are excited about.
Yes, we have mentioned a bit. Big Monday energy. Had today off, and it's still Big Monday energy. Super fun. Super easy. Barely an inconvenience. We have mentioned before that Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime has a movie that is releasing in theaters entitled That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, the movie Scarlet Bond. As a reminder, those tickets for that are available now. And the movie drops on the 20th in the US. So that is this Friday. So if you want to see it and you haven't gotten your tickets yet, highly recommend that you get those tickets and go see that movie. Of course, if you are comfortable seeing movies in theaters, absolutely support anime in theaters. And if you are a fan of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, highly recommended. Do the thing, watch the stuff, super fun. There were also new images released for the movie, and we have posted those on the Nighttime at the Nerd Bar Twitter at NTATNB. So also check those out if you would like to see those. And thank you to Crunchyroll for sending us those images and keeping us in the loop.
Yes, lots of really cool artwork on that post. Make sure to keep scrolling because there's at least, I think there's 3
There's
on
a few
that
of
thread.
them.
Yeah, so I tried to include as many as I could. Yeah, so there's 4, 8, 12. 12 images for y'all to look at if you want a quick little preview of what's coming in that film.
They sent us a bounty.
Yes, there's quite a few. I was like, yay, thread tweets.
Good stuff.
Yes. Another film coming to theaters, which we mentioned about before, via Crunchyroll and Aniplex of America. They're doing the North American tickets are now on sale for SAO, the next film, which is going to be Sword Art Online, the movie, Progressive, Scherzo of Deep Night, which also has some beautiful, stunning artwork, which is also on our Twitter, which in case you missed that before, I was like getting up to the top of that. I'm like, yes, it's the most recent one. Right after our promotion for this episode, which is go to NTATNB. So that's pretty much Nighttime at the Nerd Bar broken down. So go follow us there, and we'll put, because we post artwork, announcements. So yeah, SAO tickets on sale now, and that will be coming to theaters starting on February 3rd, which is going to be also sub and dub.
So we are just getting a whole bunch of anime movies, and it's going to be great.
Yes. We got also quick shout out to the chat. We got Gigadare. Greetings from the Shadow Realm.
Get out of there, dude.
Run!
You don't want to be there. You don't want to be there. I don't know what shadow game you lost, but get out of there, dude.
We got John Knight said, "Hi, ladies. I finished my first half of My Hero Academia season 6 dub. So we are talking about the newest episodes. So if you're not up to date, we're gonna have a little banner down below. So just be on the lookout for that." We got Charles says, "Nice movie releases." Yes, definitely excited. They are looking good because the shows already look great, and with the movies, even more. It's like, beautiful.
And keep in mind that the Demon Slayer movie is also premiering on February the 18th. So it's one of those like, oh, thanks to Crunchyroll, we are eating well.
Yes.
Let's be real.
Giga Derek says, "There's a pink-haired kid here. Seems friendly."
Out! Leave!
Run!
Run!
All right. So we mentioned SAO, and then we got some figure news.
Yeah, switching gears a little bit. FanHome is launching a Naruto Shippuden figure collection subscription. So if you're a Naruto and Naruto Shippuden fan, this is definitely for you. News today from FanHome, the leader in subscription-based collections and models, which brings the action and excitement of one of anime's most legendary properties home to fans and collectors across North America, as it announces the Naruto Shippuden figurine collection. So I'm looking at the images here, we are seeing at least 5. We're seeing you know, your main people. You're seeing Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, Kakashi. There looks to be an Orochimaru hanging out in the background, which that's fun. I also see a Pain up in here. So, yeah, I'm fairly certain that they are not showing us everything in these photos. We do have an abbreviated list from Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, Kakashi, and their friends and cohorts to villains such as Mizuki, Nagato, and Black Setsu. These officially licensed PVC figurines are meticulously hand painted and stand between 8 and 13 centimeters. Special edition figures of Naruto and his signature power modes and action poses are featured. Tailed beasts and great summoning. So sign up. You can sign up at, I believe, Fan Home would be the place to do it. Yeah, if you are a figurine collector, if you are into Naruto, and they are also including bonus gifts if you subscribe. So, if you're into Naruto, Shippuden, if you are a figurine collector, if you just want a nice thing to arrive in the mail for you, sign up for the Fan Home subscription. Good stuff.
Yes, and then stay tuned. We'll post those pictures on our Twitter as well. Other than another kind of gear of we were talking movies, we're talking figures, and now we're talking about graphic novels. Ablaze is giving us a preview for their spring titles coming out in April. So they have kicking it off with The Mighty Barbarians. They're barbarians. They loot, they plunder, they conquer. That's what they do, and they will do it alone until now. I'm like, that's a nice tagline. That's fun.
Yeah.
That comes out on April 19th. That we also have L parenthesis with the S, so L's. The L's verse. So after family tragedy and startling discovery, Elle will be forced to face down her greatest enemy, herself. And there's more, but you're going to have to stay tuned for what it's about.
Yeah.
April 12th, we got Therese. I'm going to say Therese. High at Midnight. High Tide at Midnight. Heavenly Demon Reborn, Volume 2. And as well as Children of the Black Sun and Lovecraft Unknown Kaddoth. Kaddoth? Pardon me if I'm saying these names wrong, but yeah, those look really cool artwork as well. And stay tuned, we'll post some of those pictures too.
So we're getting a lot of fun manga releases this coming spring.
Mm-hmm.
You said April for these, right?
Yes.
Nice. We have one final announcement for here, and this is something that is near and dear to my heart. You've heard me talk about it on the show before. Chucky Season 3 confirmed. It was confirmed on the official Twitter earlier today. No, it wasn't earlier today. It was on the 15th. I'm very good at life.
Recently, yesterday.
I was going to say, today is not the 15th.
16.
Oh my God, what day is it? Yes. I only just found out today, and I'm very excited about it. So, Chucky Season 3 confirmed, coming this fall to Sci-Fi. We have the official tweet, a nice little video that gives us absolutely no details because, again, this is just a confirmation announcement. But if you also follow Jennifer Tilly, she posted an absolutely beautiful photo for the confirmation of the season. Like, Jennifer Tilly is an absolute queen. So definitely follow her as well. She's very fun. So yeah, Chucky Season 3. Let's go.
Which sounds so funny of you recommending it in terms of you're not as much of a horror person.
know,
So I was like, oh,
I'm not a big
intriguing.
horror person. I'm not into killer dolls. I'm not into normal dolls. I've never really liked them. They always kind of freak me out a little. So it's just like, how did we wind up in this? Like, well, my roommate watched it and I didn't leave the room. And now I'm committed. And I've recommended the Dead Meat YouTube channel before, but basically he did a bunch of catch-up videos leading up to it, and I watched all of those, so I was ready to go when the season dropped.
Like,
so
I got this. Yes.
yes,
Yeah, that's a good way to catch up.
yeah.
Well,
the
also,
kill
as
counts
those
are
movies
great,
go
let's be
on,
real.
they get so funny. They get like by Bride of
wild.
Chucky, they're hilarious. I mean, maybe the early ones had some humor too, but they got to a point where they went like way more leaned into the humor side of things.
It's a horror comedy that's definitely a little heavier on the horror, but it also understands just how absurd its premise is, and it just picks that up and sprints with it. It's also one of the few horror franchises where every entry into the franchise with the exception of the recent film reboot that did not have Don Mancini as part of it. That was a right kerfluffle. With the exception of that one reboot, every installment of this franchise has continued continuity. You can watch any one of them without having seen the previous one and still pick it up and go, but all of them have continuity. This is a continued story, and it does continue into the TV show. So, like, y'all, the Chucky saga continues.
Nice. Well, I was thinking, I was like trying to find our fun bridge words. I'm like, well, saga continues, slash is redone. We got some chasing, absurdity, comedy, and action.
Just go for it. You know what your other segue is here? Our final announcement is that Johnny Young Bosch is returning as the voice of Vash the Stampede.
Yes.
There's your segue.
That's my other exciting news. So if you don't know already, we were talking about it last week, and yes, it is confirmed. Johnny Young Bosch will be back as Vash the Stampede, which is fantastic if you're a fan of the original show. And if you've never heard him and you've been under a rock somewhere, he is perfect for this character. So,
oh my God, yes.
I'm so excited to hear his dub of it.
Yes. Before we get into covering the episode proper, for those who weren't here last week, didn't tune in, missed this segment, etc., we will be covering the episode itself with this particular lower third, the Trigun Stampede lower third. We will be remaining spoiler-free for this part of the discussion for the earlier Trigun anime. And it's been so long since either of us have read the manga that we're generally spoiler-free for that anyway. But we do have a separate banner for the Trigun, 95, for the Trigun 1995 anime. When we are discussing about that, when we are making comparisons, etc., we will pull up this banner. That will be the latter half of the Trigun discussion. So for those of you who are only watching Stampede and haven't seen 95, we got you covered.
All right. Yes.
And then just making sure that everyone knows we're chilling. We've got everyone covered. We try to protect from spoilers as much as we can. You know, just throw it on mute, and then when the conversation topic moves on, we will change the lower third.
Yeah. Gigaderic asked, "This is his first role," and I'm like, I think so, because I think in his announcement he mentioned that like this was like the start of his voiceover career.
That makes sense. 1995, because that's the Power Rangers, right? Yeah.
Or at least start his voiceover. So
yeah. No,
not acting, but voiceover.
No.
All right. So this episode,
imagine landing Vash the Stampede as your very first role, though.
Well, it also, I'd be curious, like when it first came out, you know, is one thing of response, but now has so, you know, the association with it. It's that like classic anime that people know, and
it's had 28 years to.
Yeah. So what did you think now? We got episode 2. We're moving a little bit along.
This is a lot of my thoughts are going to need to go under the spoiler category, because there are some thoughts about tone and pacing that I want to talk about. And again, that's comparison basis. We still have no idea how many episodes this season is going to actually be. They are being heckin' cagey with that information, so we don't know yet. So that's a lot of what would inform thoughts on pacing is still. Good question. Nobody has any idea. It's not that we've missed an announcement. It's that as of this recording, they haven't made one. I did enjoy this. Mm-hmm. I really liked seeing how this developed and how the desperation of people plays into this, and how even if you're on the opposite sides of things, you can still relate, like as a parent. Just, I really did like this. I think that we are going to continue to get like one big story. I don't think we're going to get individual little episodes. I think it's going to all continue to be a continuation. Thanks, brain. But yeah, I don't think we're getting one-offs with time skips between. I don't think we're getting any time skips at all. Learning that Knives is stealing plants, and that's why there's a bounty on Vash, because people can't tell them apart, is really interesting. I like that we got that explanation. And I like that they make a very big point about the finances in this world. The one bullet is worth 2 slices of pizza. The one round for this rocket launcher costs a fortune, and I'm trying to save up. Like that it's $6 million on Vash's head, but that's also how much a plant costs. Like I appreciate that we've leaned a little bit more into the yes, this is a desert planet. Yes, resources are extremely
Yeah, the
limited.
radio too, where they're just like,
Yeah.
man, can we even survive here and everything?
I appreciate the existential crisis on the radio followed up with the equivalent of, and we take you now to the weather. Like, just and it's this nice little song. I'm just like, oh my God, thanks for that, guys. Just thank you for that. I get that life here is extremely hard, but also, holy shit. Like, are you okay? Are you okay? I felt the pizza bit in my soul. We were actually eating pizza the night that we watched it. So
That's funny.
we had already ordered the pizza and we're waiting for it to arrive. And then that line came up and it was like, yes, thank you.
So not a comparison thing as of yet, but a good point too. Nice. Charles in the chat says nice scenes in Nebraska's again from the old series. And I personally had to just go look back up. I'm like, oh, what did they look like? Oh yeah, that.
Very similar. Very similar.
Well, they did
slightly updated looks, but very similar.
They made the sun much smaller.
Yeah, he's no longer kaiju size.
Yeah, which is I mean it works within this world because some of the changes I'm like, yeah, I mean we'll get into more change details discussion a bit, but like
the design of the
felt
plants is definitely a little more grounded in reality, for lack of a better term. But then again, very rarely do you have a Naito series that's fully grounded in reality. Again, I'm not just talking about Trigun, I'm also talking about Gungrave.
Charles points out, yes, all the 3D during the chase scene in the city looked gorgeous. Yeah, on Twitter, a lot of people are sharing that, and that I feel really is showing off the quality that the 3D can accomplish. And just the movement and Vash's movement when he's dodging the bullets and like his dance and like all that looks so cool. And, you know, like it has that comedy and absurdity that you love and just cool action.
Yeah, the chase scene is a work of art. Just watching that whole thing go down and being super impressed with everyone, but the fluidity of movement, the expressions, just again, I know people had misgivings about this being in 3D, but dang, y'all. Dang.
I think it still captures the humor of it too, because there's so many moments you can't help but laugh at Vash and what's going on. And I'm really curious on what the experience is like for people who've never watched it and have no concept of his character, because us watching now understand how much depth is there.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I'm just reading those facial expressions so much more differently than like, you know.
But also those of us who watched the previous one, like there's already stuff here that's changed. So we can't, again, we're keeping it spoiler free until we swap the banners, but we can't pretend to say, oh yes, we know all of it, when it's like so much has changed already. Knives is wearing a jellyfish hoodie. Who even
changes
knows?
Though? What did you think of the opener? Giga Derek says that opening is such a comfortable bop too.
Weird energy. And again, this is it's hard. I am going to talk a little comparison here, but it will not have spoilers in it. When we were talking about this last week, I thought it was weird that like, oh, they gave us the actual ending. We haven't gotten to see the opener yet, because it has such ending theme energy that I did not question it in episode 1. Because like, oh yeah, usually it's an anime staple in the first episode. They give you the opening at the end. And I was like, oh, well, we're bucking convention. Okay, here's the end theme. I guess we'll wait till next week to see the opener. And it's hard not to sit down and go, Trigun opener, without thinking of HT, which is the opener for the 1995 show and is a absolutely masterful 95-second guitar piece. Unbelievably good. So it's really hard not to sit here and compare that. And the energy is extremely different because, of course,
Mhm.
this is a different show. Um, I'm not going to stand here and say I dislike it.
Mhm.
I am going to say that HT has been in my head off and on for so many years
Hmm.
that it is impossible for me to not make that comparison. And I know that's not fair to the new opener. The new opener is perfectly fine. It's just my brain is over here going, where's the guitar? And this again, the rest of it when we talk about opening theme and vibes and matching the show needs to go under the comparison banner. Cause again, a lot of my thoughts on this are comparison, and I've got some thoughts on that. Yeah, my take on the opening is just fundamentally unfair to this opening because I have such strong attachment to HT. That's
fair
yeah,
though.
I am well
Well,
aware that I have a biased opinion, and I just kind of need to for
yeah.
that one.
No, for those of us who
Loved the
watched the
ending.
original, we can't. Oh, interesting. Okay, I was gonna say I'm like, I don't love it, but for those of us who watched the original, it's like we cannot not think of it. So we just won't do spoilers. Spoilers, we'll put that banner up. No, I like the opening. I felt it setting a very different kind of tone.
Yeah.
And so far, this is a very different show. So I'm okay with it. It has a really it was kind of giving me like Lil Nas vibes a little bit. I don't know exactly what it is, but I was just like, like
I'm
I
gonna
feel
take
like
my Thomas to that old town road.
I kind of was like almost maybe a little bit, but it's one of those maybe if you compare them right next to each other, nothing like it. But back your memory, you're like familiarity. Anyways, I was liking it, but it is a much lower tempo too compared to the original. It was like bam, 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 and like action, exciting. But I'm curious how well this will fit with the whole of the show when they see it. And I don't know the ending. I just kind of was like, okay. Like I wasn't wowed, but I wasn't like, hate it. I just like, it's okay. Let us know your thoughts on the opening and closing.
Yeah. And also the visuals for the ending, though.
Oh, gorgeous though.
With the Gemini stuff.
I did like that.
Really
I did
good.
like the visuals of it. Just the song was just more like, like I'm not gonna listen to it on its own by itself, kind of a thing.
That's fair. That's fair. And I mean, for me, both of them are serviceable. They're both perfectly serviceable. And again, I am well aware that that's because I'm extremely biased towards the 95 version. And again, I talked about this a little bit last week, how I have very, very few soundtracks that I have purchased and kept, and that the Trigun soundtrack is one of them because all of that music, even the pieces that play in the background under the animation, has such personality and is so good. It is very hard for me to divorce my opinion on the music in this current series from my experience with the music in the 1995 series. So again, like anything I have to say about the music really does need to be taken with that grain of salt of Katie has some hardcore nostalgia for that Trigun soundtrack. So it all just needs to be like...
Yeah. Well, anything else with this one in particular before we just get into, we just got to compare it because we're comparing it?
Pretty sure those virus robots are new and they're fucking horrifying.
That was like, at first I was like, wait, are they
really
alive or someone remote controlling them?
No,
like,
I mean, they refer to them as ancient technology.
Yes.
As one of those, like, are they? Like, we don't know. Never seen those before, I don't think. And no, that was absolutely horrifying. The fact that we saw them watching Vash when the radio DJ was having the existential crisis and then destroying the Nebraska Sun. He might not be dead, but
I was wondering, what do you think they do? Because I wonder.
They seem to have self-destructed.
Yeah, but
there was an explosion.
Are they cleaning? Like, are they cleaning? Like, if they're finding technology that there or something, and their job is to clean that up, get rid of it, improve it. And were they doing that because also the one plant was removed, so it's only a bad one now, and they would have otherwise been taking care of it, and so they went after, what other technology is making such a big presence, and Vash has technology on him. So I'm like,
They were
I don't
such a
know.
surprise to
Mhm.
everyone who lives there that I doubt they were a mainstay of the plant. My
That's a good
guess
point.
is going to be, I would guess that Vash knows what they are,
I think he knows
and
what they
that
are, but I
maybe we'll
don't.
get a little exposition next time.
Yes, I don't think it's necessarily pure destruction of the Nebraska sun, but it's
They
unclear
were
because we didn't get to
built
see it.
the way those little robots are structured. They look like viruses. They look like that is the
Yeah.
structure of an actual like real
Mhm.
life infection virus.
Yeah,
So
and they're like,
that is not an accident. That
yeah.
is a design that is meant to evoke things in the audience for a fucking reason. So I don't trust them. And also they exploded a man. So that's kind of a lot. And
Exploded on
also
him. Yeah.
I this show, man, this show. We spend forever trying to. We spend the first,
Yes.
no body, no death. I know, but that's because we
But
cut
there's
away.
not. There
We
might not be
cut
a body left.
away.
Yeah.
We had a
don't know yet.
cliffhanger.
Yeah.
It's not that he's not dead, it's that we left the scene in the middle of it. Odds are we will be coming back to pretty much that exact moment, if not that point in time, but somewhere else. You know,
Maybe after, and
we're
they'll
going to
be
see.
talking about it, and it'll be like a flashback.
We're going to see the results of it one way or another.
Yes.
I would be very amazed if we didn't. I had a point here. God damn it.
Plants, viruses,
Oh,
Nebraskas.
this show. Oh my God, just the tone of this show. Okay, so we spend the first half of this episode with the whole bounty hunting thing and Nebraska showing up and trying to get them away from the plant, and then them realizing, oh, wait, there is a plant. Going back and doing that, the people versus the Nebraskas, everyone coming together to try to save this son's life. And again, after dad continually going, like, I have to take care of my son, he's my son, he's my, very much making it like a family relationship. And our big emotional climax of this episode is everyone coming together to keep him from falling from a high place like a Disney villain. And then in the last 10 seconds of the show, they fucking blow him up. Like, thanks?
Yeah.
I guess we gotta, if you don't have anything else to say, I want to segue into the conversation about tone and go into some spoilers here.
All right.
Because holy hell.
Go ahead. I was like, no.
So we've talked about how the OG anime, 23 episodes, spends the first like 14 or so of them getting you used to the world, to the characters, etc. And a lot of those are very comedy heavy episodes that also give you a good amount of action. And we only, and a little sprinkling of this is what's going on beneath the surface. This is the flashback. This is what we're figuring out. And then halfway through the series, they start hitting you with, hey, you want to meet Legato Blue Summers? You want to see what this guy's deal is? Hey, have you seen Mid Valley the Horn Freak? Hey, here's the Gung Ho Guns. Like the last 8 or so episodes are the ones where they are just really hitting you with everything, and they're very emotional and very intense. They're very good, but there's less humor to them.
Yeah.
Trigun Stampede feels like we've just schwacked off the first 13 episodes or so. No, we're not doing a comedy. We're not going to spend some time getting to know these people and having fun in a fun situation. Fuck you. Everything sucks. Let's go from there. Like, we have... It's not that there's no comedy here. It's not that it's lost that. It's that we seem to have taken out the here's the world building, here's the fun stuff, whatever episodes, and went straight for here's the really heavy stuff. Yeah, I was surprised to see the Nebraskas this early on. Yeah, and the Nebraskas were also established in one of those comedy episodes. And we got another one later on where it's the mom and the sister. And that was a very Meryl-focused episode with her trying to get herself figured out. So we don't.
The whole show starts off with like destruction and death and sad. So
yeah. And I keep going back to that first episode of Trigun 1995 where it starts off with like this big shootout.
It's like,
and then
funny, right?
flashes back to the shootout about halfway through and shows that Vash has no bullets. And so he just does his best and it's completely ridiculous. Like it takes a while for Meryl to even believe that he's Vash the Stampede because he's such a complete goober. There's a ridiculous bounty on his head. A lot of a lot of the proportions, a lot of the designs and everything are extremely exaggerated. Like the Nebraska sun was a kaiju. He towered above buildings. So again, I can understand them toning it down, making it a little more reasonable, trying to make things a little tighter in terms of design and mood and everything, but they have really cut a lot of the humor out of this show. And my God, you can feel it. I'm not going to stand here and say, that's a bad thing. I'm going to stand here and say, Trigun 1995 is literally my favorite anime. That's in the top spot, and there's like 4 contenders for number 2. So yes, I have some comparison bias, just a little.
I still feel like when I'm watching it, I'm laughing a lot though, of like there's a lot of funny moments and behavior, but they're gonna do the like you're laughing, and then smack you in the face with like, ooh, serious and like, you know, something important. But I liked it. I'm
This
digging
early
it.
on in the show, I'm really
I'm thinking
feeling
it's gonna
the
be shorter.
difference. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That's gonna be my
That's why I'm really wondering how many episodes we have, because if it's a Studio Orange special and we've got 12 episodes and that is the show, not just the season, but the
Yeah.
show. Admittedly, there's a lot of manga, so we could keep going for a while.
Yeah.
But if it's 12 episodes full stop, then this all makes sense. But I'm waiting for that piece of above table, if you will excuse the tabletop term, that piece of above table information to make everything within the story in terms of, again, pacing and tone start making sense. Without that information, it's a lot of, this is a hell of a change. What's the game plan? So again, I don't think any of this is bad. It's just a lot of my view of this is very much coming from this is my favorite. We have a new version. I cannot help but compare.
Sure.
So I want to lay down that, like, no, I don't in any capacity think it's bad. Holy shit. I really am enjoying myself. I'm just also really noticing the differences.
You're like,
yeah.
Wow, you don't know what's going to happen next.
Because we saw some ancient technology in the old show. That was actually the introduction to Wolfwood. Had an episode with ancient technology deep beneath the desert and things going a little haywire. That looked extremely different. I don't think we've seen these virus bots before. And the structure of the plants, I kind of miss the giant light bulb, not going to lie. I can understand why that's not what they went with, but I do kind of miss it. And then what a plant actually is has also changed between shows. So again, we're a little more grounded. I hesitate to say within the realm of the physically possible, because Naito's realm of the physically possible reaches to the stars and back. It's very fun.
Yeah.
But
visually
things are far
a
little more, yeah. Things are far less exaggerated in this iteration of the Trigun world. The 95 iteration had a lot of exaggeration, a lot of fantasy, a lot of it was a lot of fun, mind you. Really enjoyed it. And some of the world building was absolutely bonkers and got no answers. Again, what is a plant? Trigun 1995 isn't going to tell you any specifics, but there sure is a woman in there. So it's not bad. I'm just noticing the differences. Which is why I'm really grateful that you agreed to this comparison section.
Yes, no, it's one of those that I myself I know I watched it like way back when I want to say like high school or something, and then I did a rewatch with another friend in like college, and so I know I had seen it all the way through at least twice, but it's been a while that I don't remember core details. Like I remember vibe, but
fair.
So it's more, but then it's kind of fun to watch it with that of, I still compare it. Like you can't not, it's like, it's impossible not to, but I'm enjoying the ride. Real quick, I was going to call out the chat. We got Rab says, hi.
Hey.
And then Giga Derek says, doesn't it happen in the fight with the Nebraskas? Meryl believing, I mean.
That's with the, again, we have the, oh God, there goes my brain. Father and son is a Vash fight. Mother and daughter, the other half of the Nebraskas. is a Meryl episode.
Okay.
And that's a little later on.
I'm liking this right now of like his skill coming out slowly, and everyone's just like, they assume how he fights, and he's like, he actually is, he's a bit more I don't want to he's like the opposite. It's like pushes it away.
And then the one shot fired from him is the shot to hit the other guy's bullet, because they made a very good point of, we can't shoot towards them. If we hit the plant, we're done.
Yep. Rab says Trigun 95 spiritual successor, gun X sword.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Not familiar.
Charles said we did have some cast announcements for the Gung Ho Guns that will appear in the next episode. Even
Charles, I need those like now.
Old anime.
Charles, I need those like now. Copy paste that sucker in the chat.
Yeah. So I feel it's very fun, and it's already changed the tone by what he looks like, but I like that because part of me is, it's the old one is it's nice, perfect little bubble thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is more refreshing because then I'm like, I don't know, I'm just going to pretend I don't remember anything. And I'm like, all right, just show me cool shit. And that's what they're doing.
But also, Gung Ho Guns in episode 3. Gung Ho Guns, Knives' gang in episode 3.
That would lead us to our 12-episode timeline then.
I was going to say it took them at least 12 episodes to get going in the previous one. And then again, it was the slow drip. And I actually pulled up the full introduction to Legato last night. And just like, hey, remember this noise? And showed it to my roommate. And yeah, you guys, Legato was dark already for the previous series. Can't wait to see how shit goes down here. Because for those who might not remember, Legato has the power of compulsion. He can make people do things they don't want to do. And it's not a take over your mind, verbal influence. It's not a Purple Man kind of compulsion. It is your body just starts moving on its own. You're very cognizant that this is not what you want it to do, but your body no longer belongs to you. So the introductory scene for Legato in the 1995 anime is definitely him chilling in a bar where Mid-Valley's on stage playing, and this gang drags in a couple of women that they've kidnapped and then just start giving him grief. And he basically makes them all kill each other. Just everyone's screaming, blood everywhere. It's pretty horrific. And then at the end, he just walks up to the women and goes, yeah, you've been through some shit, but you're free to go. Like they're not whole ass traumatized by that. So it's extremely messed up. It is extremely messed up, body hijacking a whole town. Yeah. Legato is terrifying.
I'm just curious, though, how well we'll get attached to these characters with this sped up process, though, too.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing is, like, when you get more time to get to know them and, like, let it breathe, you can have a bit more connection with them. So when it's faster, what are they doing then to make us instantly like or care about these people?
Also, when is Wolfwood showing up? Are we getting the Gung Ho Guns before Wolfwood? So, like, I don't know, man.
Got so many questions.
I don't know. Yes. It's all weird and crazy. And Charles just tweeted to me because I think we've hit the end of our spoiler segment, which means that we can no longer put it on screen.
So I was going to say, because also I think it's time to move on to our next one.
It is.
Yes. So our next show we're also covering is My Hero Academia. Again, if you're new here because you joined us for Trigun, hello, welcome. We are talking about the newest episode of My Hero. So if you're not caught up, probably good to dip out or mute during this segment and then come back at the end for our recommendations of other things you should be watching or checking out.
We are covering the latest episode to drop. So subbed, we are not waiting for the dub. And we are not doing manga spoilers. Neither of us have read the manga. I have a couple of assorted spoilers without context, but I don't bring them up until after they happen. So no manga spoilers in the chat, no manga spoilers in the comments. Please respect us and respect your fellow anime-only humans. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yes. So this episode, my goodness, we all need rest and relaxation because, my goodness, we get our prison break for
Shot
most of the
chaser no
episode.
longer works. Shot chaser no longer works. We don't have a chaser. It's all shots.
Nope. Well, shots, but,
yeah. What the hell? We used to cover My Hero and Spy Family, and we would do Spy Family second as the chaser. We no longer have a shot chaser. Everything is just all shots.
Yes.
Okay.
Trial said they'll tweet you the article.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So yeah, this one, it was the prison break. I'm like, well, if they capture people back, where do they take them? Because I'm assuming most of these places have been destroyed. So yay.
Police stations probably have drunk tanks, holding cells. Probably, definitely not up to
small scale
standard of, say, Tartarus, but it's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick.
Yes.
Yeah, you do the best you can with what you have. It's a good thing I watch these episodes alone. I don't know how many people follow me on Twitter or get this, but the second that All for One was just like, yes, and then I'm going to rule the world as the Demon King. Like, I'm sitting alone in my apartment screaming, complete global saturation, because that makes total sense, but that's where my brain went. Albert fucking Wesker. Thank you. DC Douglas out here killing it with the line reads.
I was going to say, I'm not, I don't
think it is a Resident Evil joke that only makes sense in my brain. But it's very much this OP person deciding, what if I just remake the world the way that I want it? And it's like, all right, I've lost all respect for All for One. Just in terms of staying engaged with the story. My Depression Academia, yep. And again, this isn't a criticism of the story at this point. This is just me going, thank you, Giga Derek, thank you. Yeah, this is just me being that comic, like, I guess. Like, that's kind of where I am with this. It's not bad. It's just me going, fuck's sake. Really? We're just, no. Oh my God. Someone send that one to Death Battle. I would love to see that Hoedown, Showdown, Throwdown.
I was gonna say, it's just like Spinner, like, who are you? And like, this is not what I signed up for. And this is not who I'm following. And I'm like,
and All for One going, oh, don't worry, I care about Shigaraki's feelings. And I'm like, no, you're over here going, hello, next me. Like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
All for One has embraced cartoon Mr. Burns villainy.
Yes, right.
Mr. Burns is technically a success. So.
Oh, or this one, Charles says All for One giving off Palpatine vibes.
That's fair. That is a good comparison. Yep.
Because it really is just the and then obviously we do not have enough quirks that involve healing because all these people seem to be just naturally kind of having to heal. Yeah, there we go.
I don't know where they won the battle and lost the war. They didn't even really win the battle.
Derek. Yeah, I'm like, no. Yes. Rap said Spinner is the 5 Ninja Turtle in the stepchild. Yes, there was a shot where he looked like a Ninja Turtle. The wider shot, I was like, why does he look like a Ninja Turtle? And then we got closer, and then it's the details.
We did have a 5th Ninja Turtle for a while there, folks. Her name was Venus.
Yeah.
It was, the 90s were an entire option. It was a very well done episode, and I actually really did enjoy just the first bits where we had the control room and where they were talking about, like, how do we treat these prisoners? What are we doing? And the one guy going, well, they're monsters. They look like humans, but they're monsters. And on the one hand, it's like, that is an extremely messed up take for someone who is in charge of imprisoning these people, because when you stop seeing people as people, that's when atrocities start. That's when you start excusing horrifying things happening to people. Whether or not they deserve it isn't the question. Your jailer is not the judge of that. That's why judge is a separate position. But when you start dehumanizing people, that's when you really open the door to just awful stuff happening. So on the one hand, it's like, yeah, this guy is going to get absolutely wrecked tonight. But on the other hand, like, you can stand here and say, yeah, maybe All for One does deserve being locked up in here. Okay, like, he is a whole ass monster.
Actually, I'd go the further of like, do we need to keep him alive? Like, just saying, there's some that are just a little too dangerous. That
I don't know that Japan does the death penalty.
well, that's a good
This
point.
is still Japan. I don't
And then
know
this
that they
is
do.
also
And
not
death
this
penalty
comparison to real world.
No,
If
no, no, no,
anybody
no.
watching, these are very specific circumstances that you have a being that could kill and destroy so many people with just doing no effort at all.
And has proven that they are willing to do it and have done it.
Have zero remorse, zero desire for change, zero, I want to be a different. So nope, they have no Pasco, and I've been rewatching some Doctor Who. No second chances with that one. So
like, there's a conversation to be had about prison rehabilitation and focus and things like that. That is also a conversation that really needs to be had in the real world. And things like that get a lot messier when, again, you start taking quirks into consideration, especially since we saw Muscle again and guns could not stop him. And he was totally here to just tear people's heads off, whatever. He's here for this. So it's not good for someone to have this, they're not people, they're monsters attitude about humans. I'm not going to stand here and say that guy was right. There are definitely people in prison in there who were like, oh, you did what? Oh, God.
The one guy who killed everybody because he had the mouth sword thing. And killed all those people and didn't care. Like, it's during my way. So.
Yeah. So it's a weird, I don't want to call it a slippery slope. You can stand here and say, yeah, the people in that prison probably hecking needed to be there. Yeah, there's a reason they were locked up. We've seen several of them in action, and holy hell. Yeah.
So Charles says ending him would be preferable, but he could still have information that's valuable, same as the Nomu doctor they captured. Yeah, but the Nomu doctor isn't like psychic connection to the outside world and control people and do more shit. So I'm like,
but I think the only person who had any inkling that there was a psychic connection to the outside world was Deku. The only person outside of the League of Villains, that is.
Who is unconscious.
He's in no position to be reporting it.
So I love Bakugo to like, no, dude, you can't die. I will kill you first.
If he dies, I'll kill him I love that sentiment. Just generally speaking, that's one of those things where it's like, every time it comes up, I love it because it's that fun, ridiculous kind of relationship. Now that we've like gotten Bakugo mostly out of the being a horrific bully for the sake of it being a horrific bully because of his insecurities, like now that we've actually moved on a bit from that, now that we have some character depth, now that he's not just an asshole for the sake of being an asshole, I love that phrase in those. Just if he dies, I'll kill him. Just like,
he has grown as a character for me. That at the beginning, I will absolutely admit I was not Team Bakugo at all. I was like, no. But then we get some character depth, we get some changes, and by now it's like, aw, he's so sweet.
Because Team Bakugo at the beginning, kind of looked like a little serial killer in the making. So just that sort of, I have power, I'm going to exercise it on people who don't. And that's also because, again, we as the audience didn't get to see his home life, his parents, his inner workings, his anything. And so the fact that has been tempered, and that's why he was recruited by the League of Villains in the first place. Why they tried to keep him like, oh no, he's totally one of our own. This is totally how we, and Bakugo like, excuse you. So I appreciate that. For one, we've seen more of him internally as a character and understand how he works. And two, he's actually grown. And even though he still has a hair trigger temper, he is a better person than he used to be. Like, that is important. It's also buckwild that we can say that about Endeavor. And now everything is coming back to just punch him in the face.
So we got Giga Derek says, I feel by the end of this season, society as we know is going to be knocked on its backside. Heroes went all out and failed. All the prison breaks. It's going to be a no man's land sooner than later. Yes. I think I think it's kind of impossible for them to clean up everything real quick. So there's going to be just so much damage to have to repair. But also we got, Charles points out too, we get the purple haired lady from the opening scene. I was like, ooh, who's this? She looks cool. But I want to know more because, you know, she did try to help someone in prison.
Yeah.
So
And she also did the security isn't going off. What has this world gotten to? So it's like, okay, who
there could be
are
plenty
you?
of prisoners in there that maybe, you know, have changed, or they maybe did get wrongfully accused, or, you know, something. So
I feel like you don't wind up in Tartarus if you're wrongfully accused.
probably not, but you know, maybe by now she's
This is some Alcatraz
wrong path,
noise.
you know, wrong path and not necessarily a pure evil.
I did appreciate our split second. Oh, hey, it's Overload.
Yes. We said
Overhaul.
I was like,
I'm good at
Stain
this.
died though.
I didn't think so. No, he's not dead. He was imprisoned.
Okay, well.
Also, it didn't click for me that was Stain until just now. I was looking at, that guy doesn't have a nose. I know that. Oh, shit, it's Stain.
Well, that's a good point.
Thank you, Charles. It just did not click for
There's
me.
a few people that like, it's been a while that I'm like, who is that now?
It's like, did we know Mr. Moonteeth there? Or was that just really freaky?
I think we had met them once before, very
Probably.
briefly. I think it was one of those, like, that was a quirk shift. Like, that wasn't what they started with or something like that. Or...
Okay,
you can let us know if we don't remember those ones. Those are okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, yes.
It's like, no, they've been in the anime
fine.
before. Yeah. It's like, no, they've been in the anime before. It's fine.
It's like, can I get my flashback moment real quick to be like, in case you forgot who these people were?
It's like, remind me of who Dentistry Horror is. Remind me of that guy. Because a lot of them were definitely just like miscellaneous cannon fodder, etc. But
Rab says All Might never remade All for One world. Deku is the only one who's going to pull it all down and make it a world that doesn't rely on single people like All Might, which is true because it is a thing of obviously the humans who have no quirks can't do anything against quirks, but it really shouldn't have that one person is responsible. You know, there really needs better teamwork, which they did work on that a bit though too, because then they have the agencies.
Well, and I mean, again, with the licensing exam, it's also the higher ups seeing the current shift and going, we need to work on togetherness. We need to work on teamwork. We need to, you know, like they're
quirks working together.
Yeah, they can see the winds changing. And so they did emphasize that.
Yeah. Thank you, Charles, for the reminder. But yeah, there's some people that I'm like, it's been a while, so I don't remember.
It's like, hey, it's this guy. I'm like, great.
Okay.
That guy.
Well, yes. But yeah, if you're watching this as it's been playing out, it's a long gap of time. But that's okay. But I liked it as an episode. I think maybe next time we're probably gonna have Deku in that like dream in between world, you know, because I feel that'll be the next leveling up he kind of needs is more chit chat there and learning. So
I also think we're gonna get Endeavor dealing with the consequences of his actions.
Yes.
And poor Todoroki just having all right, I'm gonna have to fight my brother.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to be the one that brings him down because Dad can't do it. And my brother's nuts.
And I'm assuming that's his mom who showed up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way it's not. It's got to be.
Yeah.
And just that his throat was burned. He can't talk. I'm like, ugh.
How convenient, you know?
Yeah.
Like, no.
Oh, buddy.
Oh,
so, yeah. Everything's hacked. What did they say? Like 145 heroes in the hospital?
I want to say something like
Something
that.
like that.
A lot. And they're mostly all the bigger pro level ones too, you know, because they were on the front lines.
A lot of our pro level ones died.
Or that too. Which
like,
there we go. We reconfirmed they died, which thank you for
Yes.
saying it. They're like, yeah, so and so died. I'm like,
the two names they gave us were Midnight and Mystic. So it was Midnight and Mystic and other pro heroes. And I'm like, you gonna tell us who? You gonna tell us who? No.
Charles points out, nice, the whole family came to see Shota while the protesters were outside. I'm like, yeah.
It's like, and that's not easy.
Okay. Endeavor needs to be Obi-Wan and Dobby's Vader. All right.
And what?
Fair
Die?
comparison.
I don't know.
Try to bring him back to the cleared set. No, I don't think that's going to happen. I feel also Dobby is like, nothing's going to make him suddenly, yeah.
No,
but I hope
there's
I
not
would want to
gonna
know
be-
what happened though. Like what happened after the fire? You know, like did All for One pick you up or what? You know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Picked him up and probably found him a new jaw. I would imagine that his entire jaw was just because the jawbone is what they found. So just like, okay, this is not an
buckled on that's breaking. Yeah.
But just the fact that Dobby has been doing this since the age of like 10, 12? How old was he when this forest fire happened? Too young. But Shigaraki was also too young when he got picked up.
Giga Derek says, I feel like Dobby's going to be the Darth Maul here.
So the thing about Darth Maul is that he's actually a schemer. He has, my dude had a lot of plans and at one point took over Mandalore. So, like, I can't see Dobby doing anything like that. Dobby is what we refer to in character typing as a glass cannon. Extremely powerful, very liable to whole ass die if he gets hit. Like, his body is falling apart. So if you're like a D&D person, your wizard is usually your glass cannon. All the powers of the cosmos, but God help you if you get stabbed.
What do we think of this one? Rab says they could be using some of the deaths to cover retirements and relocations due to injury for some of them.
I think that would be a plausible thing in world, but that's not information they would withhold from the audience.
Yeah, I think we're
like, I think if they were doing that, they would spell out that like, and then these people are listed as dead, but they're actually just outie.
Anything else for my hero?
I think are just like absolutely buck wild jailbreak.
Yes.
It's like, you can't get out of Tartarus unless you're me and doubly psychic with a butt ton of no moves. I feel really bad for those 2 guards that were stationed there, you know? I feel really bad for them. It was just a really
It went a hair anticlimactic though. I'm like, damn, they went down fast. I'm like, that sucks. No.
To be fair, one of them got acupunctured with road spikes.
Oh yeah, totally. It was just one of those like. But I wondered what they could have done if their quirk. Like we didn't even get to see them really fight. So I'm like, no.
Yeah, because we had the Nomu with the shield and the exploding cactus Nomu, and it's just kind of like, well. I also really feel for the employee who was just possessed by All for One to pilot them out.
Yes.
There's a lot of like, I'm sure that everyone who worked on that barge died. I would be incredibly surprised if anyone was able to evacuate, especially with the spreading power of decay.
I think even if anybody could hide, it's one of those, they'd have to wait till everyone has left to come out safely. Or they're in a part of the building that's crumpled, so.
And also, there's no, like, we didn't see it in the aftermath, but I wouldn't be surprised if All for One just went, okay, we've got everyone mostly out, people are leaving. Boom. Great, decay the whole thing.
Yeah, very possible.
Just wouldn't surprise me. So, yeah, I seriously doubt that any of our workers on that ship survived, which is really sad because, it's also like janitorial staff and cafeteria people and like... The people, the support staff that you need to make something like this work.
Yeah.
So it's just another disaster to add on to our disaster movie with our extremely broken villain. So it'll be interesting to see what the back 9 look like, as it were.
Yeah.
I know it's like the back 13, but the back 9 is a golf thing. Let me live.
Yes.
I did like that we got to see Hawks and Genist in the preview.
Yes.
Just like doing our best. Like, no, I'm here for it. Let's go. I like Genist's fiber car. That's so great.
I'm curious to see what they'll be up to next and how well they're recovering, and we'll just find out next time.
Yep.
All right, so things you should check out. I was going to say, speak of things that are destruction, checked out the first episode of Last of Us. I have not played the game at all, so no spoilers, and I can't say any comparison. But I saw some really cool people sharing videos online of scene comparisons, and so far fans seem to be very excited, fans of the game. But those of you who are just watching, it's still very fun and exciting, and it's on HBO, not sponsored, but...
Yeah.
And Pedro Pascal, how do you not love him? And so it's so far very entertaining. I was trying to think of another one what did I watch too? So if I was like, well, I say this one was a laugh because I'm like, well, okay. So this one was The Violence Action. Yes, The Violence Action. This is a Japanese movie based on, I guess it is based on manga. Looking up, it's a bit on the cheesy side and the editing is so bonkers and whatever. But if you want like a live action anime manga something and kind of just weird and not necessarily amazing, but still entertaining, it's on Netflix. It is a female assassin and her small team, and they're trying to take down a crime syndicate that they get involved with. So I will say I've seen better, but I've also seen worse, but it was still entertaining enough. So we'll go with that.
All right.
And then also another weird one I watched, not weird, but like another one of, I watched White Lotus first season.
Oh. How was it?
I think it was entertaining enough, but it's not like, oh my gosh, the bestest drama ever. I'm kind of curious how season 2 goes. There were moments that I enjoyed and some of the satire and like commentary on rich society and interacting with, just regular normal people. And some of that is entertaining. And I'm curious if those who should get that message are even watching, or if it's a lot of people who go, that's what it's like. But that's also an entertaining enough, and it's in a different kind of way. So, yeah.
All right.
What about you, Katie?
I've heard nothing but good things about White Lotus, but I don't actually have any idea what it's about. It's just one of those like
it exists so far. Or at least season 1, that's what it is. It's rich white people on vacation in Hawaii and interacting with like the staff and privilege, and some of those things get brought up, and some things are interesting that are brought up and talked about. But like I said, it is on a kind of satirical note, and those who probably would learn from hey, did you notice things are like this, are probably not watching or probably wouldn't get it. So.
I don't know. I think it's a prestige thing, and a lot of people like to watch prestige things. So who knows?
That's true. That's possible. But yeah, if you are interested in drama, I think it continues on as like more people get interwoven of how they're interacting with each other. But it is like just regular people drama. Like there's no supernatural, there's no otherworldly anything. It's just people. Which, sometimes on a show you're like, but is there weird shit that's going to happen? Because you almost want to watch it if there is.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's like, but tell me the twist. No, it's people. Okay, but the twist.
Yeah.
The twist is that it's people. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other. Anyway. Yes, Katie, what did you watch?
Oh, God, so many things. The switch in my brain flipped from watch this thing you've watched a million times before to consume new. Always in my quest to fill in the pastoral fantasy hole in my life, I went diving into Crunchyroll to try to get that sorted. I did try several of the new anime this season. Chilling in my 30s because I got fired from the Demon Lord's army bored me. I got through half an episode. And I think some of it is very much like you got to be a bigger fan of cheesecake than I am in order to really be into that, which is also why I bounced off of My Dress Up Darling after an episode and a half. I tried. It's quality. I just couldn't do it. But yeah, Chilling in my 30s, to me, in that 12 or so minutes, didn't do anything that Banished from the Heroes Party didn't do better. So... If you really want the got yeeted from my adventuring status, just watch Banished from the Heroes Party. It gets a little weird, but it's pretty damn good, and I want to play with that world building. If you like Chillin' in My 30s, more power to you. I did not like it. I did like Handyman Saito in Another World. We have 2 episodes so far. It is based on a 4-coma, which are the little 4-panel comics that are usually just funny. Very heavy on the comedy. Definitely likes to kind of lean into its dirty jokes sometimes. But it is an isekai about a handyman who wound up in a fantasy land. They don't bother telling you how he got there. They don't bother with establishing stuff. That's not important. What's important is how he fits in with this group. And so you can tell that it's based on a 4-coma because it's a lot of smaller segments all stitched together, and they're not all about him. Some of them are just kind of world building stuff. Some of them are just kind of straight up fantasy jokes. Like one of them, the punchline is, big man and smaller lady traveling together and their weapons over there. Like, okay, and the big man picks up the little staff and the smaller lady picks up the axe that's bigger than she is. Like, that's the joke. Episode 2 is like, but what if we added stakes and actually some slightly hecked up violence and some plot continuity? So I have no idea where Handyman Saito is going, but I love it. And also it seems to have an undercurrent of capitalism bad, actually. So, I'm here for this show. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. The other one new this season that I picked up was one of the ones we've been talking about for Crunchyroll, Campfire Cooking in Another World, which for all of these isekai that we're getting, we've had so many isekai over the years. We've had so many in I hesitate to call isekai a genre because it's a device and then you go from there and determine your own. But isekai no longer, I feel like when you make an isekai, people no longer feel like it needs to be a self-insert power fantasy, which means that now we can get to the actual good stuff. So that's where we get things like Handyman Saito and Campfire Cooking in Another World, which is an isekai that pulls in 3 teenagers and a guy in his late 20s. And the 3 teenagers are like, oh, you've been recruited. You have all of these great powers now, and you've been recruited to help fight the demon army. And the guy in his 20s is like, this is sketchy. I would like to leave. The life experience coming into play. And his special skill, such as it is online grocery, which nobody else knows what that means. But for him, it means that he can just open a browser window in midair and put money into it and get groceries out. What he doesn't know, and what he finds out after cooking for the party that is escorting him out of the country because he does not trust the king and would like to leave, is that when he cooks them food that's made from these purchased groceries, it gives crazy stat boosts. So this show is just hysterical in terms of watching this guy in his late 20s function in a fantasy world and actually be very smart about it when you're well aware that there is a trio of teenagers out there living the isekai fantasy somewhere off screen. But what it does for smaller characters, what it does when it gives us I don't know if it's going to be our main monster, if you've watched it, you know what I'm talking about. They gave us an incarnation of Fenrir who is absolutely hysterical. We have 1 episode so far because I think it's a Tuesday update, but this is one where I'm like, this is an extremely promising first episode. I will be keeping up with this one. I cannot wait to see where they go from here. I never played Final Fantasy 15. I don't know. I don't know if that's the thing, but it's highly recommended, very fun. And then because I was tired of watching anime that only had 1 episode to them, I went delving into some back catalog, as it were. I've started watching Dragon Goes House Hunting. It's cute. It's about a dragon that gets kicked out of the family nest because he's vaguely useless, and it goes house hunting. So it's been cute so far. We're 2 episodes in. It's fun. And I also started watching The Ancient Magus Bride for the first time.
Yes.
I thought it was going to be like, here's a little hurt comfort, here's a little found family, all wrapped in fantasy bindings. And I'm like, great, let's go. No, it's a treatise on mortality. I'm really enjoying the show, but it's also really messing me up. So
Right?
it's good, but you got to be prepared. And I wasn't.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's 7 or 8 episodes in. I just got past the cat village. So it's like, okay, all right. Do I want to cry again for the third time? Let's find out. So I really am enjoying Ancient Magus Bride. I will finish it. And
So good.
also, you need to be prepared for that. It's not a light. That's not going to fill the pastoral fantasy hole.
Well, there's going to be season 2 soon.
I know.
You had good timing to start now.
Very good timing. They just announced season 2.
Yeah. So I was like,
so yeah,
so good.
it's such
a good show.
It's been good so far. You just gotta be heckin' prepared. And then, because again, we've really flipped the switch from no to yes, and also most of these I've gotten through 1 or 2 episodes because that's all that's available. We've started watching Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's amazing. I regret not watching this show while it was airing because it's incredibly good voice acting. It's mostly, I don't want to say mostly celebrity casting, but it is a lot of celebrity casting, but it's also all celebrities who are experienced voice actors and know what they're bringing to the table. So the voices are fantastic. The interpretation of the characters is fantastic. One of the main villains is voiced by John Cena, and he kills it. They gave him, there's an episode where he explains his backstory to a song written to the tune and cadence of I Am the Very Model of a Modern Major General. I was not expecting John Cena to be able to kill that, but he did. I've been enjoying the various different Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle incarnations throughout the franchise. This one is unbelievably good. First season's on Netflix. Second season is, I believe, on Paramount Plus for some ungodly reason. I think Roku might have the whole thing, ? And then the movie is back on Netflix. So, like, it's kind of a mess trying to watch all of it. But in this past week, we've mainlined most of season 1. It's that good. So, highly, highly recommend. You don't have to know anything about history of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There's a lot of fun Easter eggs and whatnot if you do, but it's not required. This is the literal best version of April O'Neil I have ever seen. Let's go. Watch it with me. It's super fun. Holy cow, this ridiculous show.
We got some suggestions in the chat real quick. Give shout outs to these shows. If you're watching these, let us know as well. Witch from Mercury, definitely heard about it. Have not checked it out yet. You should check out Welcome to Demon School, Irakun. I've
heard good things. I'm not up to catching up for several seasons.
Ryan, our guest from very early on, is one of the voices in it. It is cute. But early on, it seems a little bit more slice of lifey than when I started it wanted. But generally, the fans of it really love it, and some other voice actors I know are in it, and so good slice of life with monsters, So like that's cool. We also got Giga Derek says, after last week, I found the soundtrack for the Big O and rewatch Outlaw Star. Highly recommend both. Yes, Outlaw Star. Also a classic. Yes, and Big O's great. I don't know if spellcasting was a suggestion or if that was replying to something. And then we have a new name in the chat. Hello, Joe Martin.
Hello.
Hajime no Ippo. I don't think I know
Not heard of
title.
That.
As well as Kenichi World's Greatest Disciple.
Also haven't heard of that.
I like new titles and hello, new person.
Hi.
Yay. Well, we have gone on for quite a bit of talking about things we love, so we may as well do our quick sign off because I'm like, thank you everybody for joining us.
I watched a lot of things this week. That's not usual.
Me too. I was like, I've watched a lot. This is great. I finally caught up on some shows and everything.
One episode of 5 different things. It's like, all right, calm down.
Spellcasting was classic boxing anime. Okay. Interesting. Yes, and then Joe mentions real quick, I don't really know what's going on or if we're talking old school or remakes, but there's just a few for me. It says hello as well. Yes. No, this is the end of our show where that's what it is. Sorry. Hajime no Ippo is a classic boxing anime. Thank you. Because I was like spellcasting. I'm like, interesting.
The heck is spellcasting then? Aside from the act of casting a spell.
Oh, wait, hold on. We gotta hear this. One that might ruin your childhood though. Okay. Well,
I mean, try me.
I know. I was like,
watched,
okay, go
God,
ahead.
what was it? It wasn't Scrap Princess. It was another
Oh,
weird
yes.
princess
It was referring to the yes,
using a
the
cell
show you're
phone
talking about.
attack. Ah,
Oh, yes. I have not watched
no.
it.
I've heard
And
very bad things about Velma.
yeah, I've heard something. Yeah.
I have not heard anything to
Yeah.
impress me.
Yes,
So
exactly. I'm like,
I'm not gonna sit here and be like, it's terrible when I haven't watched it. I will
same.
say that I've heard opinions from a number of people whose opinions I've trust, and I
Yeah.
have yet to see anyone say I enjoyed this.
Yes.
So
I'm not gonna, yuck
not
on someone's
interested.
young if they like it, and I'm all for trying something new with the show. But same, I have a lot of people that I like and I respect their opinions, and they're like, so I'm all, okay, well,
I'm
definitely not at
enjoying
the top of my list. I have so many other things we want to
Yeah,
watch, which we could talk forever. So
yeah. I'm enjoying
speaking of
Turtles.
that,
I'm just gonna stick with that. Turtles
all
is
right.
great.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed our recommendations of what we've been checking out. Let us know other shows, books you're reading, whatever, games you're playing. Let us know in the comments down below. Katie, where can people find you online?
You can follow me all over the social medias as well as on YouTube and Twitch at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. I'm dusted off the Twitch channel. I'm back to kind of doing casual streams while I figure out what larger game I want to start playing again. So if you want to just hop on and chat while I play Peggle badly or Cats Organized Neatly badly, like that's what we're doing on Twitch. If you enjoy reactions, commentary, etc., they all live on that YouTube channel. I am also a co-host on Silver Screams, which is a horror-based channel that my roommate and I run. We now have, it should be up by this point in time. It might not be up till tomorrow, but I think it's up at this point. We basically sat down and talked about Megan for a while because my roommate went to see Megan, so we did a horror Q&A where we sat down and I interviewed her about it. So that, if that's not already up, it should be up soon. There is a spoiler-free section at the beginning, so if you kind of want a litmus test for the movie before you see it for yourself, there is a spoiler-free part. If you've already seen it or just want to be spoiled, we talk about it for like an hour. We have a very good time with this absolutely buck wild movie. So check those out.
Nice. I've actually heard some good weird things about that one though. People were like, well, actually, and I'm like, okay.
Evidently, Megan leans so hard into its premise that it's horizontal, and it has a lot of fun with it. Like my roommate Megan, which yes, does make us Megan and Katie, and makes the characters in the movie Megan and Katie. Like I said, the trailer reaction was 15 minutes of psychic damage once I learned that. But she really enjoyed it in the same way that she really enjoyed Malignant. Like, she loved it. That DVD is definitely going to be in our house once it drops. She's trying to convince me to go watch it with her. So, like, she's in it to win it, and that is a high recommendation.
Giga Derek said, made myself an evening cocktail from, sorry if I said that wrong, from the Jurassic Park.
Was it good? Was it good? I don't know, man. I don't remember what our recipes were. Was it good?
Also, real quick, to Joe says, well, maybe I messed up, but I liked it. So just please don't let the kids watch it, referring back to Thelma. Oh, yeah. No yucking on anyone's yum. Absolutely. If you like something, great. Pretty much all art is subjective. We're all just sharing what we're interested in and not, and it's totally cool.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yes. Speaking of Jurassic Park, actually, got a classic. This is from the 90s Universal Studios shirt that I've had forever.
Oh,
classic. Yes, I know, right? I'm like, still got it. Then Giga Derek said, it's just Jin and existential dread. So kind of.
That was the recipe. Yeah, if you want to see the VOD for the Jurassic Park streams, because that was me playing a game from 1997 with about 90% functionality, but oh boy, that last 10% made a difference. Those VOD are on my YouTube channel. Megan joined me for the last one, so she got to witness the madness, and it's a double stream. Check those out. They're actually quite a bit of fun. and I need to cut together a highlight reel of just
Do
some
it.
of the complete insanity that went on in that
Oh.
game.
Not a review, but a thing coming up that I was like, wait. Well, first of all, one, you can find me all online at Carrie D Lane. That's KARIDLANE across all platforms. And here on Fanversation, make sure to give the video a thumbs up. Click the subscribe button. On the Fanversation website and on the Twitter, we linked it. There is a new trailer out for the Carnival Row, which will be coming out on Prime Video on February 17th. So we talked a little bit about that before, but we put the trailer up on the website. So I'm excited. I really like that show. So I'm like, so we
Check
shall
it out.
see. You should all go check it out. I don't think I have anything super new, but yeah, just go. That's where you find all the things anyway. And as we were saying, go find us on Twitter as well as at the NTATNB, which we have a lot of pictures of the titles we talked about at the beginning of the show. So yes, thank you everybody who joined us. Hello to new people joining us. Thank you for joining us in live chat. And if you watched it later, no worries, comment down below. And yeah,
tell your friends we're here every week at the
Yes.
same time.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you all for watching. It's my funny little heart. There we go. Or I saw some other kids were doing it like, I don't know. There's other ones.
Yeah,
there's
there's a bunch
easy
of
basic one. Or wait, Kate.
Amazing.
Wait.
Oh. Ah,
Yeah,
good enough.
I know. It's like,
this is the easy one.
it's
This
easy.
is
Yes.
the-
All right.
yeah, the
Well,
one-handed. Yep.
thank you all, and we'll see you next time. Bye.